Have you ever heard of an oyster bar so good that even at 2 a.m., there's still a line of 10 people waiting? It sounds unbelievable. But that's exactly what happens at this tiny 18-seat seafood counter tucked inside a casino in Las Vegas. There are no reservations, no flashy ads, just incredible food that keeps people coming back day and night. So, what's the secret? Stick around because I'm about to reveal how this humble counter became a full-blown culinary cult in the heart of Vegas land. If you've ever heard of Palestian Casino, congratulations! You've proven you're either a tourist under 50 or have standards. Don't worry, you're not alone. Palestian isn't on the strip, doesn't host a circus show where bendy people twist into metaphors, and it's definitely not home to a nightclub named after a vague concept like Vibe, Essence, or Aftermath. Nope, this place is about 10 minutes off the strip, which in Vegas time is basically the edge of the earth. Palestian is one of those old-school locals-only joints, the kind of casino that smells like it has stories, mostly involving bad decisions and buffet coupons. It's a little smoky, a little worn, and just dated enough to qualify as charmingly vintage, instead of abandon all hope.
Let's see, which way should I go?
And right off the casino floor, past the slot machine squeezing out their last coins, you'll stumble across something that doesn't quite belong in a casino, an oyster bar. Not just any oyster bar either. This one's got 18 stools, shaped in a horseshoe around a few bubbling steam kettles, and a couple of chefs who look like they've been running this operation since before Google knew what a review was. Yep, they don't need it. Their resume is your dinner. What makes this bar really unique is that there are no reservations, no takeout, no delivery, no exceptions. It's first come, first serve. And if you roll in during peak hours, like say 1:30 a.m. on a Saturday, you could be waiting 2 to 3 hours. Now, 3 hours of waiting in line might sound ridiculous just for seafood, and yet people are actually into it. They line up without complaints. Some bring books, others bring friends, and a few roll in with folding chairs and a cooler like it's the Super Bowl of bisques. That wait, which should be a major turnoff, is actually part of the charm. It's almost a rite of passage. I mean, if you haven't stood in line for 2 hours in a smoky casino for pan roast, are you really even a local? The best part about this bar is that it's open 24/7. So if your body randomly demands jambalaya at 3:42 a.m., all you have to do is show up. Somehow, despite being situated in a weird location, barely taking up any space, and doing zero advertising, the Oyster Bar has become one of the must-try places to eat. While the big spots on the strip are busy chasing trends like molecular gastronomy, edible gold, and coffee foam, this tiny seafood counter off Sahara Avenue has been quietly serving the same 6 dishes for decades. It doesn't look fancy, and that's kind of the charm. In a city obsessed with the next big thing, this local spot is surprisingly still one of the most talked about. But how did a seafood counter in a casino become a culinary pilgrimage site? Well, the Oyster Bar first opened in 1995 inside Palestian, a casino that originally started as a motor lodge in the 1970s, originally known as the Casino. Back then, the Strip was still king in Vegas, and off-strip casinos were mostly for locals, night shift workers, and people who knew where the loose slots were. When the Oyster Bar came along, nobody paid much attention. There was no grand opening, no celebrity ribbon cutting, just a small counter, a couple of steam kettles, and a modest seafood menu with gumbo, pan roast, raw oysters, and maybe a couple of things thrown in, depending on who was cooking that night. It wasn't trying to be anything fancy, and that's exactly what made it work. In a city like Vegas, where everything competes to outshine the next, sometimes it's the simple things that really stand out. The chefs behind the counter focus on just one thing, making their seafood taste so good it wouldn't need any ad campaign. They did this by constantly improving the flavor of their seafood. Soon, word began to spread, slowly but steadily, from night owls, casino employees, and insomniacs to bartenders just getting off work. There were no billboards, digital advertisements, or any advertisement at all. just people telling their friends stuff like, "Trust me, you definitely have to try this place." By the early 2000s, it had gone from a late-night secret to a cult classic. Regulars came multiple times a week. Locals swore by it. Tourists who stumbled in also fell in love and started telling their friends. Eventually, people started planning trips around this place, hoping to hit the strip later after visiting the Oyster Bar first. The craziest thing about the Oyster Bar is that it's barely changed since day one. While the rest of Vegas kept leveling up with flashy resorts, celebrity chefs, and fancy food festivals, the Oyster Bar just stayed put. Same stools, same counter, same bubbling kettles. Even the menu still sticks to its 5 or 6 classics. Nobody really knows why they barely redecorate, but maybe that old school charm is exactly why people can't stop coming back. The space didn't evolve much, but the crowd sure did. By the mid-2010s, the wait didn't only become part of the experience, it was the experience itself. 3-hour lines became normal. Bloggers and vloggers took notice of the place, and just like that, a quiet little oyster counter turned into an internet sensation. What you experience when visiting the Oyster Bar is quite fun. First, you find a line, which is usually around the side of the casino floor, like a conga line of very hungry people. You shuffle forward every 15 minutes like you're moving up the queue for your favorite concert. You might probably see first-timers asking how long the wait is. While regulars just smile because there's no definitive answer, it could be 45 minutes, it could be 3 hours. The only constant is that you will question your life choices at least once. And then, finally, a bar stool opens up and you slide into your seat like you just finished a marathon because you know you've earned it. What follows is a blur of sizzling kettles, rapid-fire chef moves, and steaming bowls of seafood that hit the table with the drama of a Vegas headliner. The menu is quite small, but don't be fooled. Every dish on there might be the same, but it's different because everybody has a unique taste and a different type of way they need the items on this menu prepared. If there's one dish that defines the Oyster Bar, it's the legendary pan roast. It's a bubbling, creamy seafood-loaded potion cooked right in front of you in a tiny silver kettle. Shrimp, crab, oysters, and a hit of brandy all swirled together in a rich tomato cream sauce that clings to every spoonful.
Yeah.
It's spicy, steamy, and oddly comforting. And just when you think it couldn't get better, it comes with a thick hunk of toasted garlic bread or rice for dunking. You will be sure to end up scraping the bowl. But don't sleep on other dishes yet. We also have the raw oysters, which are usually flown in fresh and shucked to order. They're served cold and clean with lemon, cocktail sauce, and a dash of horseradish if you're feeling brave. There's also the oyster shooters, which are single raw oysters in a shot glass of spicy cocktail sauce and vodka. You'll also find the gumbo, which is a dark, smoky dish loaded with andouille sausage and shellfish. Then there's the etouffee, a rich, more buttery cousin of the gumbo, thick with shrimp or crawfish and served over rice. It's the kind of thing that makes you consider licking the bowl, then decide against it only because you're being watched. The jambalaya here isn't just good. It's the kind of dish that makes you stop mid-bite and nod in quiet approval. It's loaded with shrimp, sausage, rice, and Cajun spices that don't just add heat, they bring character. The spice builds slowly, never overwhelming, but definitely leaving its mark. Each bite feels like a celebration, warm, bold, and just a little wild. It's hearty, comforting, and exactly what your soul needs after waiting in line like you're trying to get into a club. But for gumbo, if you're feeling daring, there's an option to crank up the heat. It's not for the faint of heart or tongue, but perfect if you're chasing that fiery kick that lingers just enough to make you question your choices. The combo bowls are also a crowd favorite. You can mix pan roast or gumbo with a side of white rice that soaks up every last drop like a seasoned pro. The portions are no joke, generous enough to feed you and the version of you that skipped lunch, but you'll still find yourself scraping the bowl clean. It's that good. Everything is cooked right in front of you in small silver steam kettles. It's a fast method but not rushed. Just enough time to let the flavors develop without overdoing the seafood. The scallops stay tender, the crab opens up perfectly, and the sauce always lands somewhere between rich and just shy of indulgent. Many of the chefs behind the bar have been here for years, some over a decade, and they've got the timing down to a science. They know when the sauce thickens, when the heat hits that sweet spot, and when it's ready to serve. In fact, some regulars are so loyal they'll wait an extra 20 minutes just to be cooked for by their favorite chef. It's not fancy, but it's personal. And that's what makes it special. This spot is one of the few places where nobody rushes you once you're seated. You wait for hours, so you eat on your own time. And at last, once you're full, sweating slightly, and maybe considering a nap, you get up. Someone else takes your seat, and the whole cycle begins again. The Oyster Bar isn't just beloved because the food is great. It's beloved because it feels like you're not supposed to have it. With only 18 seats and no reservations, it operates on the oldest trick in the book, scarcity. You can't just walk in and get it. You have to wait, sometimes hours, and the wait is what makes people want it more. When something is hard to get, it feels more valuable. That pan roast doesn't just taste good, it also tastes earned. And when you finally get that seat at the counter, there's a small thrill in knowing dozens of people are still behind you, waiting for theirs. Some might say the Oyster Bar is overrated, that it's just running on nostalgia fumes, and that no bowl of gumbo is worth a 3-hour wait. But ask the regulars, especially the ones who've been sliding onto those stools since the 90s, and they'll tell you it absolutely is. Because here's the thing, the Oyster Bar is living proof that you don't need LED floors, a celebrity chef, or a cocktail served in a shoe. All you need is food that slaps, chefs who know what they're doing, and just enough of a wait to make it feel like you're in on something special. Thanks for sticking around for this deep dive into one of Vegas's most delicious little secrets. If you like this video, smash that like button like it's a crab claw. Hit subscribe for more off-the-menu legends, underrated gems, and food stories you definitely won't hear from your hotel concierge. And hey, got tips for surviving that Oyster Bar line? Or a favorite steam kettle combo that'll blow our minds? Drop it in the comments. We read every one, unless we're in lines ourselves. See you next time. Bring your appetite.